Hello and welcome to this Bizmates Words and Phrases video series for Japanese business people. And today's phrase is kind of a cool one. It's compare apples to oranges. Now you know what apples are, you know what oranges are. What does that mean? Compare the two, apples and oranges. Let's find out what this means. But first, our test. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to you because I'm leaving or you're leaving the company. And I say, I enjoyed working with you. And you say, I hope our paths cross again someday. Were you able to say that? Great goodbye phrase. Okay, let's go on to today's phrase. Compare apples to oranges. What does this mean? Well, think about it. You know what an apple is. You know what an orange is. They're very different, right? They taste different, they look different, their color's different, they smell different. They're completely different. So it's very difficult to compare the two. Apple and an orange. Which do you like better? Which tastes better? Well, they're completely different. Now, if you compare a good apple and a bad apple, it's easy to compare, right? But not apples to oranges. Okay, so here's what I often hear. So if I say, let's imagine Taro has just joined our company, new employee, he's joined our company, and I say, Taro, how does working here compare to working at your previous company? You know, this company and your previous company. How do you compare the two? And he says, yeah, it's difficult to compare because it is different. You know, Taro is a manager now, but he wasn't a manager in the previous company, you know. Or he was in the marketing department before, but now he's in the sales department. So they're completely different. But this sentence is a little bit unnatural. It's difficult to compare because it is different. No, it just doesn't sound so good. Okay, not very smooth. So what you could say to express this is this. So how does working here compare to working at your previous company? It's like comparing apples to oranges. All right, I guess you can't compare the two. They're completely different. Isn't that a great phrase? Comparing apples to oranges. You can't compare. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at pronunciation. It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's like comparing apples to oranges. It's like comparing apples to oranges. You try. Okay, with my question, how does working here compare to working at your previous company? Okay, were you able to get that? Okay, for homework, what's another example of comparing apples to oranges? Okay, I want you to think about it. They're two different things, but people often try to compare. Like your mom and your dad, or who do you like better, your brother or your sister? It's like comparing apples to oranges. They're completely different. I can't compare the two. Okay, so think of another example for the next lesson. Okay, thank you.